So I think culture is going through a massive transformation under the Vision 2030. It plays a vital role.
Do you think it's something that should be more traditional, or there is a space of the modernity, and if yes, how the modernity can be integrated?
We make learning more joyful. It becomes a very joyful journey. So yes, students may learn knowledge and facts and information. Festivals, museums, cinemas are opening across the kingdom, and the transformation is not only happening in the venues and infrastructure. Transformation happening with the participation.
Workshop or conference or everything for different kind of audience, to try to cover all the audience, means actually all the age. Do you personally think that there is Good evening, Miss Abir, and thank you very much for joining us for a new episode of Rihla with Cécilia.
Thank you for inviting me.
The pleasure is all ours. So today we have a very interesting subject. So of course it will be about art and culture, and we will discuss as well about a museum and what's going on in the traditional and modernity way here in Riyadh, and what was the evolution through the years. So my first question, Miss Abir, will be, please, would you mind to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit more about who is Abir.
So my name is Abeer Albahrani. I am originally from the Eastern Province. I graduated from King Faisal University, Al-Hassa, English major. I started my career as a teacher for children, and then moved to high school, and then become the director for extracurriculum. Then I moved to the cultural and museum industry.
Very, very interesting. Very, I would say, through the empowerment already and the education of the youth. So from Al-Hassa you moved to Riyadh?
No, from Al-Hassa I got married, then I moved to Al-Khubar.
Okay.
Spent around 19 years in Al-Khubar.
Oh, wow.
And then moved to Riyadh. This October I'll be finishing 4 years in Riyadh.
4 years in Riyadh. Mm-hmm. And in Riyadh, so now it's purely into culture and art, if we may say. It's not anymore in education.
No, I started my cultural journey back there in Al-Khubar for 4 years, and now it's 4 years, or almost at 8 years in the cultural industry.
Wow. This is very impressive. So today we will discuss a little bit about the cultural impact through the physical place that we call a museum. So we have a different museum here in Riyadh, some all over in the kingdom, but maybe we will talk more about Riyadh. So what do you think as a museum evolution from, I would say, maybe 10, 15 years to now, from the traditional to the modernity? Because now everybody, as you know, is talking about AI, about digital, and things like this. So the museum, for you, in your perspective, do you think it's something that should be more traditional, or there is a space of the modernity? And if yes, how the modernity can be integrated?
Well, this is a challenge in a museum, is how to keep the museum authentic and how to make it relevant. So that's the difference between a traditional museum and modern museum. Traditional museum, it's all about objects, and this is the risk of making it silent. Music can be silent, but when it revolves around people and you invite people and welcome them to participate in a museum, it becomes more dynamic, more vibrant, more relevant. So what I can say between the traditional museum and the modern museum, it's the difference between day and night. So, but how we can keep it authentic is to integrate technology into it, but not to make it the core subject of the museum. It should revolve around objects, should revolve around culture, should revolve around history, but the tools that we use should be talking to the new generation. Their language is the technology.
Yeah, I agree. So that's mean for you, like the way of keeping up with the youth is to use obviously the tools that they understand and they like.
Yes.
Because I think, I don't know, but I think that maybe the young generation, the small children, they're more receptive to something like interactive or modernity, more than with object that the story will be maybe on a small board like it was when we were younger. Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
I just come back from Medina. And in Medina, I had the opportunity to visit the traditional museum and the new technology museum. So the one, it's, as you said, day and night. But I feel, and again, this is something very personal, I feel that I learned more. So I don't know if it's because of my generation. I feel like I learned more about the history of Medina, through the more traditional museum, because of the as you said, the object. So maybe now I refer something about the history through object, and the other museum that was mainly with the
VRs and
yes,
ARs.
all these things. It was entertaining, I would say, but do I learned something? Yes. But the way of learning is very different, and I think the impact of the traditional museum was stronger than the modernity, the VR.
So in a museum, you have different audiences that comes in. And the challenge is to curate and develop programs for different audiences that comes from different backgrounds, different ages. So adults like us, we were born with no digital, no technology back then. We were used to and very familiar with reading books, reading labels, trying to research ourselves, and this is the way we educate ourselves. But the new generation, they were born in the technology world. So this is their language. Those are their tools to navigate and explore the world. So the successful museum should have both tools for different types of audiences. So you can see a family coming in with a mother and children. Mothers love to read, love to look very closely to the object. Children would take the audio tour guide and listen to the audio. Maybe they want to put the VR and see it in realistic, and this is the way they learn. So I think we should be very diverse in our style and approaches.
Yeah, of course, you are very right. Now we just talk about the difference of age or generation. And if we talk about the impact on the museum, on different nationalities, because now Saudi Arabia is opening up. We have more and more people from different nationalities, different experience or background that they are coming here in Saudi Arabia. The culture is very different. The history of Saudi is very rich. So what role the museum or exhibition or cultural event in general have on these new people coming? Is it a way of storytelling? Is it a way of explaining what is the culture? What do you think is the impact on we will call permanent structure as museum, and also because now we are going towards the end of the year and there is a lot of cultural events. So what do you think of the impact on different nationalities?
So I think culture is going through a massive transformation under the Vision 2030. It plays a vital role in many ways. So culture strengthening identities. It roots you to your heritage. It gives you pride and belonging, and also it provides stream of economical diversification. So culture is very important to us, and how we present culture is through cultural institutes and museums. So we can see, and right now many museums are opening across the kingdom, and existing museums are going through transformation and development to meet global standards. And we're not saying a museum is totally a new culture to Saudi Arabia. It's been a destination for tourists. It's been a destination for school visits many years ago, but now it's become a destination for everyone. Families, they mark their weekend not out of obligation, but they want to come in because there are many activities and programs happening that they can engage with their children and or with their friends. Many youth find it a social space where they come in and talk and gather and share ideas and information and knowledge. So museums are platforms for dialogue, for innovation and creativity. It doesn't only play a role of being preserving the past. It becomes the bridge between the past, present, and the future. So tourists, for sure, foreign tourists, the first destination when they come to a country and they want to learn about the history, they want to learn about the culture, the tradition, the first destination would be a museum. Through the museum, you should provide different types of programs and activities, not only touring, where a tour guide just receive them at the beginning of the gate and take them and lecture them through a tour, but you can give them the freedom to explore what types of information and knowledge would they want to learn, what type of history they want to go back, to what destination they want to travel. So yeah, I think museums are very important, and it's also growing rapidly through the vision of 2030 under the leadership.
Yeah, I really agree with what you say in terms of museum or actually for everyone, and also it's a platform for people to meet it together, because as you said, you have the mother and the kid, you have the Saudis, you have the non-Saudis, the new come to Saudi, and on the weekend you see all those different profiles, and eventually they might stop in front of a piece of art and then engage the conversation to each other.
Sure.
So the art is, we used to say that it's the universal language. You don't need to speak the same language to understand art. So what do you think is the most communicative in art? Is it the fact that everybody has his perspective, or everybody will be interested in different angle in something, and then it will be the link for a new conversation? Or what do you think make the art so special that people actually engage conversation to a total stranger that will potentially not happen in any other situation?
I believe in the perspective that says everyone was born artist, and then he loves art. Since the beginning of humanity, people started doing artworks, expressing their self, documenting their days, their activities. So I think there is an artist with everyone in us. And so everyone has his own opinions and perspective toward any type of art. And people love to share their opinions and perspectives and feedback. And this will spark conversation and dialogues and discussion within any museum or galleries and exhibits. So you can see different perspectives regarding their age and background and nationality. Even in one group of a family, a grandmother would see it from a very historical, traditional way. Parents would see them in a way that is more moderate, more modern, and more present. But the children will see it more of, a way of exploring the world, discovering it, and sharing their opinion toward an art. So I do believe that we have artists within us, and then that's why we love art, and we see art in everything.
Yes, art in everything. Everything is art. It's just the way that we are looking at it. Just to come back on what we said, that a museum or an art exhibition, especially here in Saudi Arabia, changed through the years. I would say maybe the 5 past years, because of the change of the lifestyle in general. Because if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago, it was not very much allowed to exhibit art in public, to have men and women in the same room, potentially talking together about something that was not related to family or so on. So how do you see the changes through the years, and how it's very important now for the communication to have this art exhibition and museum? Because if we look at the lifestyle in general, we still have limited place for social. It's not very easy for foreigner, for example, to social with Saudis. And art exhibition of art museum is one of the places that it's making it a little bit easier. So from 5 years ago to now, what's the biggest changes?
Well, it's undeniable, the change. The transformation is very obvious. Less than a decade ago, we have limited cultural assets and venues, limited activities, but now we can see change happening very quickly and rapidly. Theaters, festivals, museums, cinemas are opening across the kingdom, and the transformation is not only happening in the venues and infrastructure. Transformation happening with the participation of our people. They love to participate. They love to engage. They love to attend such cultural events and festivals. They share their feedback and opinion. We get their perspectives and we get their expectation, and we try to build on it, to develop it and improve it, and provide them with the best quality of events and cultural that meets their expectation. So the transformation is happening, and that's a big belief of the vision that we have 2030 in our leadership, and also the creative minds that we have in Saudi Arabia and the talents that are really supporting and pushing the limits and toward the sky.
Yeah, and the very good thing or powerful thing here in Saudi Arabia is a very strong Vision 2030, extremely big and fast development of the Ministry of Culture with all the different commissions. So we can see a lot more about music, fashion. The Riyadh Fashion Week is coming. It's around the corner. Looking forward, you know. Last year was amazing. The year before, good, but every year we are expecting bigger.
Yes.
So we can see a lot of changes inside the country, but we can also see a lot of, I would say, exportation of the Saudi culture around the world. I'm from France. Couple of weeks ago, it was a big event at Diriyah. For example, they were there to introduce the Diriyah project through, obviously, visual, food, the Saudi cafe, all these things that now it's not only that inside the country that we want to expand the knowledge through the exhibition art and culture, but also now in the other country. The Expo Osaka, big success, unbelievable coverage on social media and media. And now in France, Europe, UK, for the travel fair that they have every year, the Saudi pavilion is getting bigger and bigger. Much more eyes are on Saudi from outside. So when you see this kind of event, again, we can see how the culture and the art is important, because this is the big visual. This is what we take and we bring to France for French people to see what Saudi Arabia is. So how do you see this kind of event?
Well, so one of the biggest motivation that brought me to the cultural sector is that I believe that we can curate and develop different initiatives and programs, not only for our population or that consists of children who is trying to explore the world and discover the world, not only for youth, but also for global presence. Many outside of Saudi Arabia are curious about our country. They want to learn about this country. Yes, we have a very important location, but we are also very unique in our diversity. We have different types, we have different regions around the kingdom, and every region have its own sounds, voices, colors, costumes, tradition. And what makes us more unique, though we are very diverse, but we all together, we are unified under one identity, the Saudi Arabia. So we all have that kind of pride, and we are belonging to this beautiful land, and we all believe in the vision. We all believe in one direction. So bringing out our story to the world is a very big motivation for me. Sharing our history, sharing about our beautiful mosaic culture, and sharing about our future as well. You know, the transformation that's happening in Saudi Arabia, probably not happening anywhere else in the world. The rapid change, not only in one stream, but in different streams in parallel, in culture, in investment, in economy, in everything.
Real estate, transportation,
and
everything.
in culture itself, there are many streams as well, like in museums, in different venues, theaters, cinemas, festival. So this is one of the biggest motivation that I have, is to bring that story not only on local level, but also global level.
Very interesting. So if you go to France tomorrow and you meet a French person who never came to Saudi before, what would be your your speech to make this person want to come.
I'll just block an appointment with him for 3 hours, because I say if you don't have anything else afterward, I'll be very happy to speak about Saudi Arabia from ancient eras till now. We are rooted in history. We did not exist all of a sudden. We have a land that was lived by different civilization, from Dilmun, from Al-Ula, from Dadan, from Lahdan, and we have the history of cradle of Islam. We have the history of Mecca and Medina, the stories of the prophets. We are not only deserts and camels, which is very significant symbols of Saudi Arabia, but we have different environments, from seas and beaches and valleys and mountains. We have a very beautiful ecosystem, and we have different climates. We have different products. So speaking about Saudi Arabia is really endless.
Yeah, I can feel the enthusiasm. You don't have to send it to me. I'm here already. But you're very, very right. It's unfortunate in some of our country in the West, the way that we see on the media, if we see anything, because actually Saudi Arabia, our media don't speak much about this. It's in general for GCC, I would say. So exactly what you mentioned is just even me, when I'm going back sometime to my country and then I say, oh, I live in Saudi Arabia, it's like I can see a big question mark on some people's face, because they are like either they are not sure, or then they will have the same what do you do in the country of the sun? I mean,
yeah.
What is there? And then some other people will be just closed because of the miscommunication or misinformation that we have on our TV media in Europe. So, you know, all the dark things they might say about the country from the East. And it's just like, I feel like every time I'm going back to France, I have to go through this déjà vu conversation. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling like, now Saudi Arabia is making a lot of effort in international marketing. They are on different event scenery in Europe. They have a lot of advertisements, especially in my country, you know, in France. In Paris, you see a lot about Alula, because Alula, as you know, is with the French Commission thing. And it's just like, I'm not even sure they connect the dots between Alula and Saudi Arabia, you know? So it's a very, every time going through like the selling speech about what Saudi Arabia is. But as you said as well, there is so much to say.
Yeah, there is so much to say.
There is so much to say about the color, about the food, the culture, especially now there is a lot of events coming in. We just mentioned the Riyadh Fashion Week. Also, we have the music festival happening in Alula, I think, this week. And then Sandstorm coming in December here. Plus, tomorrow start the cultural investment.
Yes.
So, of course, you will be there.
Inshallah,
I will see you
definitely.
I will see you there as well.
See you there.
Because, again, cultural and investment go together. So we can feel the urge and the need of exploring this as a commercial aspect as well, marketing aspect, and storytelling.
I totally agree. So probably the weapon that was used against any Arab country or Saudi Arabia in particular is media, is lack of media in the West, or the negative media, and we probably want to use the same weapon toward, you know, cleaning the mindset and directing the new mindset. And I think it's the efforts that we're putting into our country is very obvious. Everybody's seeing it right now through the medias and through the influencers and through the efforts of the government and the population and also the ambassadors that we have that came in as tourists in Saudi Arabia and went back to their country, spreading the word about our hospitality and generosity and rich and diverse history and culture. And the mindset wouldn't take one month or 2 years or 3 years. It probably take a while until they realize that what has been said is not true. But we are a rich country that has a strong leadership and a vision, and we're all together putting the same effort toward this direction.
Yeah, this is also where I think the Saudi Arabia power is the youth, the proudness of the youth when they talk about Saudi, because they are also very well traveled.
Yeah.
They are traveling either for leisure, but also for education. I think the best ambassador of Saudi Arabia abroad is, of course, media, but as we mentioned before, is the genuine lifestyle through the Saudi people who are going abroad for different reasons. We have a lot of leisure tourism, especially during Eid holiday, for example. A lot of my friends, and I guess it's not only my friends, they go to London, they go to Paris, they are exploring Europe. So when they go to Europe, of course, they are in holiday mood. So we are all the same. Holiday mood, we are even happier, very enthusiastic to share our experience. And obviously you meet a lot of people. So then you will share about Saudi Arabia as where you live, where the changes are happening. And because even if the media now, they are not, I would say, supporting 100%, with the discourse of someone, you also see on TV now, you cannot miss that Ronaldo is here.
Yeah.
You cannot miss that the FIFA World Cup will be here. The Expo
Bringing everyone together.
is bringing everyone together.
In a small world,
and
yes.
then when you have like different perspective of discourse, then you have to be a little bit more curious. If you see something on TV, then you see Ronaldo going to Riyadh, and you have you meet in some place in Paris a Saudi family, you will be like, I need maybe to make some research about Saudi Arabia. It's definitely something that we are not very aware. And what will pop up the most, the fastest, is art and culture.
Yeah.
Because again, this is how the storytelling is made. In all the countries, we are talking about the antique time to now, what was wearing in the past, what was this, what was that. So we are actually now what the wars makers became, yeah? So if we talk about, I would say something a little bit more temporary. So we have the museum, we have the art exhibition, because now also opposite King Fahad Library in Olaya Street, you have this place, it's called Musa Mall. And Musa Mall, I remember because it's my neighborhood. I remember a couple of years ago, it was one art gallery. And then
all of a sudden,
it's turned as the art mall. It's very well known now to have like this different art studio, artist temporary exhibition. Some of the studio, they make rotative exhibition, not only Saudis, but mainly Saudi artists and Saudi collector. So you can see a very bright range of different art, very high, I would say, level of quality and the price and everything. Have you visited the Musa Mall?
No, not yet, but probably I'll mark my agenda for one day to go and visit it, inshallah.
You should, because it's again, it's a little bit of everything, but very Saudi orientated and mature artists. They are a little bit older in age, and you can feel that the art level it's actually very high.
So art hubs is all over Riyadh. You can go to Jax, you can find art hubs. You can go to Dir'iyah, you can go to the north, in the middle of Riyadh. There are always very big, beautiful venues for artists to come and exhibit their work over there, and it's worth exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, what I like, I'm sorry, I'm coming back to Musa Mall. What I very much like there is, if you go a little bit later in the day, then the artist himself will be there. And he will be the one taking you around the exhibition and telling you the story behind every painting.
Yeah.
If you go to Jax, maybe it's something because it's open much more recently. It's something maybe for different kind of artists. But the experience in Musa Mall is very, I would say, intimate.
Yeah.
You enter, you are the only one. and then the artist will be introducing himself, but after a while, you know, he will not go straight to you and say, oh, this is my
He will
art.
give you a chance, an opportunity to go and explore yourself, and then he will interfere.
Exactly, and the vibe is very different also because the building is very old, so you feel already that you are entering
history.
Yeah. And the nice thing is you're opposite the beautiful King Fahd Library, so at night it's lighted up. You have the whole atmosphere that make the experience of this exhibition very different. It's actually experience.
And I think many projects are going towards such a direction, is building a cultural cluster or a landmark where the visitor go over there and have everything laid out for him, whether it's a library, it's a cafe, it's a museum, it's an exhibition, it's a research center integrated with technology and spaces for gathering and socializing. So it's very important that we make sure that our visitors come back again, and this is one of the elements we should have in our cultural venues and institutes.
So Abir, something from the past you mentioned, and I want to go back on this one, education. Because education is very important. We feel it in every field. It's not only culture, it's also now the big diversity of people coming is a big range for hospitality as well. When we are talking about education, what program are you maybe part of, or what program you are working on and want to implement? Tell us a little bit more about this.
So I believe that museums and cultural institutions are a powerful extension of the classroom. We make learning more joyful. It becomes a very joyful journey. So yes, students may learn knowledge and facts and information through reading a book, but when they interact with a real object and engage in a workshop and participate in a hands-on activity, this subject becomes alive, and it really resonates with them, and the experience have a lasting impact. So at the museum, we should have like an army of educators and facilitators with creative mindsets and different approaches and styles of facilitating. So to curate programs that caters for many audiences, actually we should curate for all audiences that comes in. They have the right to be included in all of our programs. So we follow different types of styles, whether it's storytelling, hands-on activity, arts and craft corner, drop-in activity, engaging workshops, a talk, a research. We do many mini conferences at our work where we invite interesting facilitators or trainers that has their own paperwork, then they want to discuss it and present it to the audiences. Gaming is one of the styles and approaches that we do. Treasure hunts, where people play. And so I can describe museums as a learning playground. Okay. And when I say play, I'm not only talking about children, I'm also talking about adults and seniors.
So that was actually a question I wanted to ask. So as you said, there is a workshop or conference on everything for different kind of audience, to try to cover all the audience, means actually all the age. Do you personally think that there is any limitation of creativity? Do you think we are more creative on the younger age, or the creativity is something that can be worked on, developed, or is it something that we have and just have to go out?
No, creativity is a value. It's a very important approach in developing a program. That's what distinguishes us from, subject and education in schools. But we shouldn't go above limits where creativity takes the biggest role in the development of any program. What I mean by creativity is make it enjoyable, entertaining, impactful, accessible, and doable as well. That's what does creativity mean. So when you read a book, there is no creativity in reading a book. Yes, you're learning, you're engaging. Sometimes, you discuss it internally with your thoughts and so on. But how can I make that reading of that book becomes alive? That's where we come in as program team and make it more joyful, more entertaining. And through maybe doing a shadow theater program, we cut out some characters and backgrounds, and we do voices and musics at the back and make it shorter, give the summary of the book in a very creative way. We do not vague the value or ignore the objectives, the real objectives behind the learning, but we do it in a way that is more creative.
Very nice. Actually, you said something earlier, and I would like to ask you something a little bit more personal. You said that in everyone there is an artist, and everything can be art.
Yeah.
My question is, Abir, are you an artist? And if you are, please tell us, what is your art?
Okay. I am an artist. I used to draw when I was a little kid, and I have, that pad that I share different, pictures and paintings. But then I stopped for a while. But when I reached the age of, the late 20s, I kind of want to unlock the artist within me, and I fell in love in the jewelry industry.
Oh.
So I studied jewelry designing, and I launched my business back then as a jewelry designer. I got inspired from our really beautiful cultural elements around the kingdom.
Wow.
The Hijazi elements, the Najdi, the Sharqiya, the south and the east, the Sado, the palm weaving. I can, my magic was to turn something on the paper into a real piece that women would be proudly wearing it, whether it's she's from Saudi Arabia or from international countries. It was an amazing journey.
And why was it? I mean, where is this collection now?
To be honest, I have stopped 10 years ago.
Okay.
I moved a little bit toward, the promoting of culture, the programs, the museums, the reshaping the strategies of how do we see a museum in a society. And I think it's a very important motivation that I really, really need to concentrate my efforts and time toward it. I'm really happy. Probably sometime in the future, I'll go back to the same hobby and launch another business.
Actually, we are looking forward. I'm very excited to see that now. Also, now you just said something very interesting. How do you see the balance between work and, let's say, hobby? Because you mentioned and very lively about this jewelry journey. You stop and you said that you focus on your work and strategy. Don't you think that you maybe lost a little bit the balance between your work and your hobby? Or
balance is a bit difficult, especially when you have a very crowded personal life. You're not only an employee, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a daughter, you have friends, you have to obligations toward other commitments. Yes, I find it hard for me to practice and do some hobbies because lack of time, or probably lack of time management toward personal life. But I will never lose hope in finding that type of balance. I still have that artist within me, that jewelry designer hiding somewhere, and probably will pop up sometimes in the future.
You definitely have, because you have your first fan. I'm here waiting to see the design and everything, because also, as you mentioned, it looked very close to the culture. So we are talking about, yes, it's a hobby, but it's very close to actually who you are, deeply inside, what your job is nowadays, and what you are doing daily as a cultural advisor and so on. So we are waiting for the Go Green light for us to have a look to the new collection.
Tuned.
Yes, definitely. Don't worry, I will follow up on this one. So now, if we are talking about so we talk about 5 years ago to now. Now, if we talk from now to, let's say, the 5 next year. So 5 next year will be obviously 2030. So this is the big vision of the country. how do you see all this cultural thing going? Because now, as you said, there is much more museum opening. We have art gallery, we have art exhibition, things that 5 years ago
did not exist. Yeah.
And then now, yes, and probably much more in the future.
I can see a very bright future in the culture industry, especially in toward the museums. We are trying to compete with ourselves at the beginning and to not only adapt global standards, but also take those global standards and adjust them to fit with our values, with our identity, and with our history, and what really goes with what we believe in. So I can see museums being very unique, being a destination for everyone, being a destination that everyone would mark their calendar to go every weekend, because it is fun, joyful, and social. I think a museum will be one of the biggest platforms to exchange knowledge and a dialogue, not only within the local population, but also internationally. I can see museum being more immersive, adapting more technology into it, and still being very authentic. We have very beautiful, valuable collections and objects, and every object is telling a story. I can hear those stories said by our people. So whether they're the new generation saying it in a very modern way, or old generation will say it in a very traditional way. So I think there is a lot going to happen at the museum. I think we're going to be the standards that we will be followed by other countries in the world.
Yeah, the must-stop point.
Yeah.
Very good. Abir, I have a personal question, because I think you're traveling, and if you're traveling to Europe, what will you take in your suitcase from Saudi? Anything related to food or a small object, or...
I will take oud with me.
Yes, of course. The oud. Saudi people cannot go anywhere without the oud.
I'll take the oud. Yeah, no, it's the scent that makes you a bit happy.
Yeah.
Makes you feel still that you're still in the country, feel part of your culture, and it smells awesome. You know, when you walk around, you feel that people would just stop you and say, "What is the smell?"
Yeah,
and it's very authentic to our country.
True. So this one, let's say it's for yourself. If you have to bring a gift to someone from Europe, what would that be?
From Saudi Arabia? Because I am from Al-Hassa, I would just bring dates. Yeah, dates, different types of dates.
Of course.
Or lemon, the green lime.
Amazing. And just also, I have a curiosity. I don't know if you have kids, but my question will be, what Abir today would give an advice to Abir when she was younger?
I would say be more confident, take risks, be careful when taking risk, but take it anyways. You will grow outside of your comfort zone, so take this a step toward your goals. Study your steps, but don't hesitate to take it. Okay. That's my advice to myself. I know change is something that happens to everyone, happens to the world, happens to countries, to personal, and you have to accept change. But you can make the change to be more positive if you take the right direction.
Definitely. Just a question out of my mind now, but if you would have to move to another country, for living, let's say 5 years, which country would that be?
I will fight to stay here.
Perfect answer.
I will fight to stay in my country.
Now everybody wants to come here anyway. Abir, it was an absolute pleasure to have you today. We learned a lot about museum and different cultural activation that can happen in the country and internationally. Hopefully much more and much more. We will be supporting in any ways we can. I am a big fan of museum. I love art exhibition and whatever cultural event. And as mentioned, we are looking forward you to launch the first jewelry collection. We will follow up on this one. And please accept our thanks very much for sharing your journey and your experience with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It was such a pleasure to come and be a guest speaker at Rihla. And I hope that I had added some value to the episode or to our audiences. And hopefully we can meet again for further conversation and dialogue, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. عفواً.